Hey everyone, Steven here. In today's video, I want to talk about repricing for your Amazon business. So this is a topic that you've probably seen a couple of videos on by other people. And the suggestion from all of these people is that you shouldn't get a repricer from the very beginning. You should wait until you have more than 5-10 SKUs until you start selling a certain amount. And the reason they say that is usually because of the costs associated with repricers. But in 2026, 2027, that is no longer an issue. You should absolutely get a repricer from the very beginning when you first start selling on Amazon, because you don't want to be wasting your time and missing out on sales manually repricing all your products when everyone else that is selling against you, that is competing on the same listings, all of them have repricers. So there's really no reason for you to not have a repricer. And in terms of the costs associated with repricers nowadays, with Seller 365, you literally get a repricer included in the software bundle with all the other tools like InventoryLab, Tactical Arbitrage. And it's a no-brainer for new sellers now that are looking into solvers, because you don't have to be paying $70, $100, sometimes $500 a month for a repricer anymore. And from my experience testing out a bunch of different repricers in the industry for my own business, you learn that repricing tools are all built in the same way, where the goal of it is to just automate pricing between a minimum price that you set and a maximum price that you set. There's a lot of other features and customizations that come with different repricing tools, but when you have a tool like SmartRepricer that has all the essentials that you would get with all these more expensive repricers, there's literally no reason to get any other repricer out there. And this is coming from someone that has previously paid $6,000 a year for a repricer and then switched over to SmartRepricer. So while I show you how to actually use SmartRepricer, I'm also going to give you the nuances and what I think of certain repricing strategies and how I think about repricing my products. So let's get into the video. So this is the dashboard that you'll see when it comes to SmartRepricer, but in your dashboard, you should be able to see all your active products, all the inactive products that have zero inventory or you've probably sold out already, all the products that have missing costs for you to enter in so then you actually get real data, all the items that are missing a repricing strategy, and all the items that are missing either the minimum price that you set and the maximum price that you set. And then most repricers in our dashboard should have a buy box statistics, which is how much of the buy box you're currently winning with all your products. And if you were to scroll down, you will also be able to see your sales statistics over the past 7 days, 14 days, or 30 days as well. There's also some other data points down here, but usually that is the main thing you want to look for in a dashboard. You want to be able to look at the entirety of your business and take actions directly from the dashboard. So if you were to click into any products that have missing costs, it will take you to the listing page where you have all the products so that you can see which items are missing costs. If you were to go back to the dashboard and click on items that are missing minimum price, you'll be able to click into that and see which items are missing the minimum price. We don't have any right now, so we'll just go back. The next place that you'll spend a lot of time on in your repricer is going to be the listings page. So on the listings page, it's going to pull in all your listings from Amazon Seller Central. And from here, you should be able to take a few necessary actions, including changing the repricing strategy, enabling repricing, checking the stock of the product, checking your minimum and maximum prices, and making any adjustments directly from the listings page. And one of the main reasons I switched over to SmartRepricer from a very expensive software is because one of the views I wanted to have in a repricer was the inventory age view. So not every repricer has this, but it's one of the most critical components of a repricer. You want to be able to see how much of your inventory has been in stock from 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60 days, 60 to 90 days, and so on. The reason you want to see that is because in the Amazon FBA business, the success of this business is dependent on the velocity and how often you sell through items. So for you to have a bird's eye view of how many of this SodaStream product you have in stock from 0 to 30 days will help you make better decisions when it comes to repricing the item. If you have this SodaStream item that's been in your inventory sitting there for 3 to 6 months, you want to be able to switch repricing strategy right away from that data point in order for you to sell through the item and get your original investment back. So that's why inventory age is one of the most important things I look at when it comes to a repricing tool, and SmartRepricer has that. If we were to scroll to the right over here, you're able to see the current buy box, the competitors, how many FBA, how many FBM sellers, who has the buy box, whether they're an FBA or FBM seller. You can see the calculation of the profit and a breakdown of all the fees and ROI. You can see your cost that you inputted with any additional costs like prep cost, a breakdown of all the Amazon fees associated with this product, the status of the product, the sales rank, velocity. And what's really cool is you're able to see where the inventory is logistically. So you can see how many units are currently being inbounded to FBA, how many units you're working on to send to FBA, how many units have actually been shipped to FBA and received by FBA, and how many units are unfulfillable or reserved. You can also see the date this item was first listed as well. And if you ever wanted to edit any of this information, you could just click on the actions button right here, which will take you to a page to edit all of this information, or you could go back and click on any of these editable values right here, for example, the minimum maximum price. So this is the product details page that's associated with each one of your listings right here. If you wanted to update the costs or the shipping costs, additional costs, you can always enter that inside there. You can also have it imported directly from InventoryLab because it's part of the bundle as well. And you can also have your min and max price imported directly from InventoryLab too. So a quick thing about the min and max price, usually I would want to set it based on the historical data of that product. So if I open up the ASIN right here and I take a look at my profit calculator right here and go to my graphs, I can see the historical price of this product. So this is also included inside your Seller 365 bundle. If you want to see how I use a profit calculator, you can also watch this other video that I made. But if you look at the graph right here, this is the 3-month span. You can see the highest price has ever been was $25.99 in the past 3 months, right? So you can set that as the max price, or what I would do is set it at $29.99 just in case some of these sellers go out of stock or we reprice a certain way where we could hit my max price and make the most amount of money. So you could also look at the minimum price, which is going to be $13.47. So if you are profitable at $13.47 for this item and it makes sense to set that as your minimum price in order for you to keep selling the product, then I would price it at $13.47. If it doesn't make sense, I would quickly input your buy cost, which is going to be around $4, and then see at what price am I able to make like a 10%, 15% margin or like a 20%, 30% ROI. So let's say my cost is $4 and I would put it at like 20 bucks, and that is around 26% margin or 100% ROI. I could go even lower to like $17 right here, and then our margin is decreasing to 16% or 70% ROI. So you can go lower. It's really dependent on where you want to start. Usually I would say keep it at a higher margin and ROI from the very beginning, and once you're doing a lot more volume where you have a lot of systems in place to decrease your overhead and decrease your prep cost per unit, then you can aim for these lower margins and ROIs like 10%, and then you can set that list price as your minimum price in the repricer. You can also change the strategy of all of your items directly from here and change the update frequency. So this is how often the repricer will take an action and reprice on your behalf. Now, something that I learned is that whenever a repricer looks at the product and then reprices based on your competitors, they send that information to Amazon, but Amazon doesn't receive that information right away and reprice for you right away. This is the reason when you list a product on Amazon or using a software, there's always a warning telling you that, hey, this can take up to 15 minutes in order for it to be updated. So repricing frequently every single second, it doesn't mean that Amazon is going to receive that new price and update it on your behalf the next second. There's usually a delay in the API calls up to 15 minutes. Now, another thing is that you're able to tag your products as well, because later on we're able to filter out based on tags. So if you ever want to look at some of your favorites or your best sellers or some products that are going out of stock really soon, you can filter that out in this listings tab. And it's always nice when softwares give you the ability to leave notes, because sometimes you want to be reminded of your notes whenever you're looking at your product. For example, this one, I could say this item is being discontinued, and then I would update it. And all the way to the left here, when I take a look at my note, I can see that, oh, okay, I left this note for myself. Now, if you click on columns, you're able to see every single data point that we just went over. You can also drag and drop them backwards or forwards to see which view that you prefer. And if you go to filters, this is where you could filter out all the listings to what you want to see. And a very important filter I want you to pay attention to that not many repricers have is the ability to filter out products with low inventory fee. Now, this is really cool because a lot of products that you've ordered and sold in the past, they might have an extra charge by Amazon called a low inventory fee, where they want you to maintain a certain amount of inventory. And if you're not able to maintain that and the stock depletes, that means that they're going to charge you an extra fee based on the days. Another reason why everyone should switch to SmartRepricer is that you're able to filter out your products based on the inventory age of the products you're carrying. So if I want to see products where I just sent it in and the inventory age is 0 to 30 days, I can do that. If I want to see products that have been in my inventory for more than 6 months, I can also do that as well and change that strategy. If you are a used bookseller, you can also filter out products by condition. And one of the biggest updates of SmartRepricer that not many other repricing tools have is this black hole product filter and the ability for the SmartRepricer to automatically reprice based on black hole listings. So what this is in certain categories, there's a range in price where it makes more sense to decrease your list price because Amazon is going to be charging you more in fees if you're in that range. And what SmartRepricer is able to do is that if they discover you're in that range, they will automatically move you out of that range in order for you to avoid these extra fees. So these are some small but very specific features that can save you thousands of dollars in the long term. If we go to the strategies tab right here, you're able to create as many repricing strategies as you want. And this is something I want to quickly go over in this video. If you want me to cover it more deeply, I can also do that as well in another video. But when it comes to repricing, your strategy is one of the most important things you have to figure out. So the way that I would do it based on my business is to figure out which products I can move in a certain amount of time and then reprice according to that. The reason I set my strategies to reprice that way is because I want to move inventory in my business and I want to have faster turnover. So I want to make sure that whatever I'm investing in products can come back to me with a return really quickly. I don't want inventory stuck in my inventory for 6 months, a year, where it's not doing anything for me. So on top of these very specific product-based repricing strategies, I also have repricing strategies based on inventory age. In the first 30 days, my goal is to match the price or raise the price. The reason that is because the time it takes my products to get to Amazon is so streamlined and quick that I usually find my products to be around the same price range from when I did the product research and purchased the product. So the expected profit and ROI, as long as you do your product research correctly, should be around that range when you first bought the product and sent it in. Now later on, when that product has not sold within 30 days or you still have a bunch of inventory that's 1 month or 2 months old, then that's the time where I will start lowering my prices. The reason I want to do that is because when it comes to inventory turnover, I want to be able to get my money back to invest into other products. Now, any of my inventory that's older than 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, I want to move that as quickly as possible. So then I would change my repricing strategy to be more aggressive, where the only goal is to get my cost of goods back, and if I can make some profit, even better, but I just need that cash back into my business where I could reinvest that. Now, when you create a strategy, you can absolutely create your own template just like I did, or you can actually use one of their templates, which if you don't want to spend a lot of time in the very beginning figuring out repricing strategies, these are the most effective strategies to start repricing your products. Now, if you were to create your own strategy, and then we go into this really quickly, you can see the amount of details and filters and rules that you can set for your strategy. It's kind of overwhelming, like when you go through this entire rule list. This is just the first page. If you go to the second page, you also have some rules that you can set depending on the seller type, depending on what happens when the price hits a certain amount. You can also create rules based on velocity and the stock of your inventory that you're carrying. You can also set a rule for staying in the buy box and then also adjusting your min and max prices as well. So there's a lot of details. It takes a little bit of time to set up, but once you set it up, your future self will thank you. So after you set up your strategies, one of the coolest things you could do with SmartRepricer is actually automate a lot of your workflow. So if we go over to workflows and click on my workflows, this is where you can create an automation for all your inventory. So I'll give you one of the simplest automations you can create right away, which is to reprice your products to the max price 3 a.m. in the morning. The reason a lot of sellers use this strategy is because after a long day of your repricing all your products and competing for price and competing with other sellers and usually decreasing the price, 3 a.m. in the morning is the best time where no one's shopping, and there's a chance where if you increase your price all the way to your max price, all the other sellers with repricers will follow along. Now, a lot of sellers do this and it's kind of considered like a reset at the end of the day for all the price wars, but you could set it up automatically for all of your listings or some of your listings depending on which listings you want to set it up for, and then it would just do this on your behalf, saving you so much time and money. Another cool automation that I would set up is that based on the inventory age of your products, you should move them into a different repricing strategy. So if you have a product that you sent in and you have it at above the buy box or even matching the buy box, but then it hasn't sold in the past 60 days, then you can create an automated workflow in SmartRepricer to change that strategy of that product to a more aggressive strategy on your behalf. Now, this is really cool because a lot of sellers manually do this and look over every single one of their listings when you can have SmartRepricer doing it on your behalf, and again, saving you so much time and money. And another strategy that I would recommend is that if you are selling products that you know are being discontinued or there's very little stock left in the market and you are one of the few sellers left and you have limited stock, you can also create an automated workflow in SmartRepricer to increase your prices depending on on your stock level. This way you can maximize your profitability over time for those specific products. So again, when you're looking for a repricer, not every single repricer is going to have every single one of these features, especially for a price this low. And the great thing about 3Coats having a software bundle like this is that all that data from InventoryLab syncs over to SmartRepricer. So the last few things that I would take a look at when it comes to repricing your products on Amazon is when you're using a repricing tool, you want to be able to look at the history of the repricing. The reason you want to be able to access that is because if there's ever an error or something that were to happen to a price of one of your products and you don't know why it happened, a repricer that has transparency for all the repricing actions, you're able to take that information and figure out exactly what happened and why. Another thing is that if you go to reports, you can generate your own reports in order to see if there's any trends or any data points that you can use in other parts of your business. You can also see all your orders directly on SmartRepricer. And if you go to settings, you could also add other sellers that you don't want to compete with when it comes to setting up your strategies. But one of the most underrated features that not a lot of sellers really think about is the support that comes with the software. When it comes to SmartRepricer, since it's a part of 3Coats, you have access to their amazing support team, you have access to 3Coats University, you have access to one-on-one calls with experts, and that's just the benefits of working with a larger company like 3Coats that owns all of these different softwares and decides to bundle it all together for a very affordable price. So that's it for this video, everyone. I hope you guys learned a lot. If you want to give SmartRepricer a try for your Amazon business, there's a 14-day free trial to the Seller 365 bundle. You can also try all the other softwares included in the Seller 365 bundle. I'll see you guys in the next video.